Hey, welcome back to the shop. I'm David. On the bench this week, we've got something kind of unique. This is a table base made by an artist named Willie Daro, who was born in Belgium in the early part of the 20th century, and through the 60s and 70s, and maybe even a little later, became very well known for his sculptures that he did and made them into table bases. But I've been asked to make a base for it out of wood, so that this can be elevated up a little bit, and it's going to be used now as a sculpture piece. And I'll show you the process they go through to make the base. I have no idea if this is the original finish or patina on the piece of sculpture. I'm not messing with that. I wasn't asked to do anything with this, so we're going to leave it just like it is. So I'm just going to simply trace the base onto this piece of plywood. This is a 1/4 inch thick piece of plywood, and that's what I'll use to make my template. She wants the base about 1 inch wider all the way around than what the actual base is. Hopefully that got everything. Oh yeah. All right, so I traced this out, and then I thought, how am I going to expand this out 1 inch? And initially I was just going to get a compass and drag it along, but I didn't think it was going to be very accurate. So I started playing with this washer, and I can hold this on here in my pencil up against the wall of the washer, but it's only about 1/2 inch. So I'm going to try and super glue this fender washer in the middle, because that is almost right at 1 inch. So I'll see if this works. All right, I think that's going to work. Well, I got to look at this and I thought, why am I wasting so much plywood? And my pencil kept hitting these pieces of the sculpture. So I've moved it off to the side. I cut a pencil down to where I can get underneath everything, and I'm going to redo this. I think I'll get a little bit better line. Yeah, that's much better. A little hand sanding should take out all the last little ridges in here. All right, that worked out really well. We got both sides good and flat. So the next step is to get my pattern traced on here and get it roughed out with the bandsaw. It's a little thicker around here than I really wanted, but I'll just take it easy with the router. Okay, my first attempt at doing a flush trim up to my template didn't work so well. I think because I was trying to take too much wood off at one time. So I've gone back, put this back on the drum sander and sanded it up just right up to the template edge. So now I'll just smooth it with this. Well, I did have some blowout here. I think this one's going to be okay. I don't think it's deeper than where the template is. This piece here was a pretty major chunk that blew out. I was really nervous going around these edges. It's almost like trying to route, well it is, it's routing end grain. Probably should have taken a different approach, but anyway, I'm going to try and get this clamped on. See if I can get that glued back in, and then I'll just finish these ends by sanding. I think this will be okay. I'm going to use Titebond 3, which is really an exterior glue, but I'm using it because it dries a little bit more brown than regular Titebond, and I know when I start sanding through to this, I'm going to sand through to the glue layer. And I'd rather have something a little brown than something a little yellow. All right, we'll see how we did here. Came together real nice. So, like I said before, I'm kind of done with the router on this. I'm going to try and sand it as close to this as I can with the drum sander, and then I'll finish it by hand. All right, I'm done with all my sanding. I'm really happy how all the little defects came out. I was able to get this one almost completely gone. Sanded to 180, and the top and bottom have been sanded to 180. And the purpose of this is not to be a showpiece, it's to elevate the piece of sculpture by a couple inches. And I've actually got some wood balls that are going to go on the bottom too, so it'll sit up about another inch. But we don't want it looking as blocky, but I didn't want to do anything too fancy. So the bottom's just going to get like a 1/8 inch round over. And on the top, I think I'm going to use my 5/16 round over bit and drop it down enough to where it cuts just a little ledge around here as well, just to make it look a little bit nicer. So I'm going to get that done, and then I'll finish sanding everything by hand with 220. I'm going to be taking very light passes. I don't want to take a chance of any more tear out, so I probably will make this cut in 3 to 4 passes. I ended up using a 3/8 round over bit on top. I did a couple test pieces and it just looked a little better. So let's finish sanding now. So I need to attach these little feet. Just picked these up at the craft store. Probably made out of pine, but I need to attach them to the bottom. So I've marked roughly the center line for each one of the legs here, and I'm going to come in probably 1 inch on each of these. All right, I've got my template back on here. Now I'm just going to mark my holes. I pre-drilled these to where the mounting hole in the base will go. We do have a finishing plan in place finally. Don't always show it on my videos, but I usually do some testing of what we want the finish to look like. And the way I ended up with this was 1 coat of brown mahogany gel stain, and then a couple light coats of perfect brown. It's a kind of a transparent, I believe this one's oil-based lacquer toner. And that's how we got this finish here that she seems to be real happy with. So this is what we're going to go with, and I'm going to get the stain on it today, and we'll let it dry 24 hours. I've already blown this off with the air hose, but of course before we ever put stain on anything or finish, want to give it a good wipe down with a tack cloth to make sure we get as much dust off of this as possible. I just apply it with a small t-shirt material, small amount of that. Get it on, not going to let it sit real long. And just wipe it off with another piece of t-shirt material. All right, that's it for the base layer. Let that dry overnight, and tomorrow I'll hit it with the lacquer toner. All right, my stain dried really good overnight. It's time to get some toner on it. I'm just going to be taking light passes over this. This is where I'm trying to get to, so I've got a little bit of ways to go. Feet glued up just fine. Love the contrast between the dark color and the lighter brown. So I'm going to get a quick coat of semi-gloss. Got the wrong can. But I'm going to put a quick coat of semi-gloss on the bottom. I've already wiped it down. I'll let that dry for a little while, then I'll flip it over and get the top. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the video. I had a good time making this little project. Was asked to make a base for this piece of Willie Daro sculpture. It's now going to be used as a centerpiece for a table. As you saw, I had some trouble with the router. I know why now, and I know how to correct that in the future. Learned a little bit on this one. So I ended up just hand finishing everything, and I probably got about 3 hours of sanding just around the sides of this. But I'm pretty happy with how it came out, and I think they're going to be extremely pleased as well. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.